Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about sales funnels for photographers. Now, you may be cringing or you may be like, what in the world is a sales funnel? Regardless of where you're at on that spectrum, I feel that this is going to be an incredible training and hopefully eye-opening video for you, because I feel that every single business should have some kind of sales funnel in place. So the importance of really this video is, one, to bring awareness to it, but second, to teach you and show you kind of what a sales funnel is and how to go about doing that with practical examples. So my name's Joe. I'm with Dana and Joe. We are a education brand for photographers, whether you're wedding or portrait, doesn't matter. But we are in particular wedding photographers. So we talk about wedding photography quite a bit, but honestly, this strategy can be used for any business, not just photography. This is the core to any business, to succeeding, to growing, and bringing in revenue, and having a business that thrives. So if you like this video, go ahead, give us a subscribe, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. We always leave links in the comments so that you can come over. And our main area that we spend the most time and where we share the most education is the Booking Lab, which is a free Facebook group for photographers where we teach you how to grow basically a thriving business using strategies like this, as well as basically anything else that you can think of. And then we just go deeper there, and it gives you the opportunity to ask questions, and I can give you answers real time and actually record individualized videos for you there. So if you have the opportunity, go ahead, check it out there. I'd love to have you in the community with all the other photographers, and also just, you know, because I learn stuff from you guys too. I'm still learning. We're full time, and there's still a lot of things that we discover every day and that we like to share with you. But you guys also teach us a lot. So without further ado, I'm just going to hop right into it. I'm going to share my screen here. So if you stick with me to the end, I'm going to give you some practical examples. So I'm going to go over kind of like big picture, but then I'll get it down in some actionable steps so that you can actually see really how this plays out in your business, and how you can take this video and literally sit down today and come up with your own sales funnel, right? So basically a funnel is just a customer path, a customer journey, right? So from the initial time that somebody finds out about your brand to them becoming a paying customer, that is a funnel. And they use a funnel because you have, you know, this downward slope where you put a lot of people in at the top, and then you have a few paying customers come out the bottom. Because let's be honest, right? Think of it this way. Like, think of a brick and mortar store. I'm walking down the street, I see a store, you get foot traffic in there, maybe 100 people go in that day, maybe 5 people purchase at the end of the day. Just because I'm curious. I'm like, well, I've never seen this store before, it looks interesting, let me go in. I walk in, I look around, I don't see anything that interests me, and I leave, right? So not everyone is going to be a paying customer, so it becomes a numbers game. The more people that I can get in my store, the more sales that I'm going to get, right? But realizing not everyone is going to buy. But there is a customer path. There is a clear defined journey that person goes from realizing who you are to becoming a paying customer. And that is what a funnel is. All right? So you're taking people who have no idea who you are and turning them into paying clients. You have to get them to know you, like you, and then trust you. Okay? And we do that through these specific stages that you can see here on the funnel itself. So you got the attract stage, the engage, capture, you nurture them, and then convert. All right? So if you were to Google sales funnel, you're going to see several different ways that this is depicted. But at the end of the day, it's all the same concept. You're getting someone to, basically a stranger, to know who you are and then eventually become a client. Now let's talk about the most common way that photographers have their website set up. So they're using things like Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube, organic search, Instagram, whatever other social media that's out there. And they're getting people, they're saying, hey, look at me, here's my work, here's some blogs, things like that. You get people that come over to your website. This is known as traffic. They come to your website. Maybe they like what they see, and then they'll fill out the contact form, and then you follow up with them via phone call, messenger, email, whatever it is, right? So this is the most common way that photographers have their business set up. The issue is we're missing the engage and the nurture stage, right? So we're basically putting up this big billboard where it's like, hey, look at my work, hire me. And then we're hoping, basically living on a prayer, that our website converts and that they fill out the contact form, right? So one of the biggest areas I see is you could probably break this up into 3 stages where people aren't getting enough visitors from these areas, aka they're not getting enough traffic to their website. Then there's those who are getting a lot of traffic, but their website's not converting well because their website isn't set up properly. They're not putting them on that customer journey. They're not leading them to fill out this contact form. Now, a good website conversion rate is 1%. And out of that 1%, so basically 1% conversion rate is the number of people that visit your website that fill out the contact form. So for every 100 people that come to your website, 1 person should be filling out your contact form. Now, out of those people who fill out your contact form, not everybody is going to book. Maybe 50%, right, is a good statistic. So if you're like, okay, now I got some numbers to work with, now you know what you need to do. But how do I increase those numbers, right? How do I get a better rate of return for what I'm doing here? And I'm going to get into that, all right? I'm going to literally go into a practical example of how this works. And when I show you this, I guarantee a light bulb is going to go off, because if you go to any website or anybody who's doing digital marketing well, you're going to start to see this structure. It is a blueprint that literally every single business uses. It's just, it has a different nuances to it. It has a different, basically, like, skin to it, right? So, you can look at 15 different cars. At the end of the day, they're all cars, but they all have different body styles, different colors, things like that, right? But at the end of the day, all cars have 4 wheels and an engine, right? It's the same thing when it comes to a funnel. All right, so here's a practical example, right? So you're attracting them via social media, via your blog, something's getting them to click over to your website and find out who you are. So that's how they get to know you. They get to know you by your online presence. What does this person do? What do they like? What kind of style of photography do they do? All right? They come to your website, and then you're going to want some kind of opt-in. You're going to want them to take some kind of action, right? Usually this is some kind of free resource. Have you ever been to a website and you immediately get a pop-up or some kind of pop-up later on down the road as you're still scrolling around saying, hey, would you like this free guide? Would you like a coupon? Would you like a discount, right? The purpose of that is to capture information. So now you're going to have a higher conversion rate because, like we said, you got 1% of people coming to your website filling out your contact form. Well, let's say they're not ready to fill out your contact form yet. Maybe they're not ready to book you. Maybe they're just in the research phase. So what you're going to do is you're going to give them something for free, some kind of free resource. And what this is going to do is it's going to take that 1% and it's going to increase it. Now, I've heard some digital marketers say a good opt-in rate is 40%. I've never been able to get it 40%. I've gotten it maybe 20 or 25%. I do believe them. You just got to keep trying and testing to see what's right. So if I'm a newborn photographer, I could do for expecting mothers, right? Maybe they're looking around because they want the birth of their child captured, or maybe right when they're born. You could do like a hospital packing checklist, or what to expect, the top 10 tips for to get ready for the birth of your child, right? You're going to do something that is valuable to them, that gives them some kind of piece of information that is helpful, but in return for that, you're going to exchange it for their information. So, hey, give me your email address or become a Messenger bot subscriber, and I will in turn give you a PDF or a video or a short course or something along those lines so that you can get their information. Once this happens, you can then send them a welcome email. Inside that welcome email is just you engaging with them, saying, hey, thank you for taking that action. I'm so-and-so. Here's a little bit about me, my business, my brand, etc., right? Now, the intent is the person who then downloads that free opt-in, whatever that free resource is, right? They're going to go over and they're going to use that free resource. They're going to find that valuable. It's going to become, if they take your packing checklist and they literally use that resource and it becomes something that they're like, wow, this is great. Like, they really covered everything. This was so helpful. This is, I couldn't have done it without this. Guess what you've just done? They now like you, right? You now become their go-to person because you have given them something that they didn't have before, and you save them time, you save them aggravation, and you've really helped them improve their life, right? So now you become a likable person in their eyes. Now, what you're going to have is what is called a nurture sequence. So these are follow-up emails. And I'm not going to get into the tech on how you can do these things, but you would use something like, a MailChimp or a GetResponse or an ActiveCampaign, some kind of email service provider that has automation in it. And you're just going to automate these emails. You don't have to send these out manually. These get automated for you. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start sending them emails. It doesn't have to be every day. It could be once a week, or it could be every other week, or once a month. Whatever you can do in order to stay consistent. Consistency is probably the hardest thing to do, and it's something I struggle with all the time. So what you want to do is start sending them emails. And in these emails, what you're going to do is send them helpful information. It could be anything. Again, go back to newborn photography, right? You can start breaking it down in even further. Hey, here's how to get your baby ready for a newborn session, or here's 5 things that most parents don't know about a newborn session and how to prepare for that. I'm coming up with random topics off the top of my head, but you can kind of see some of the things that you want to be thinking about. For wedding photography, it could be like, hey, here's my trusted vendor list, right? So that could be my opt-in. Hey, if you're in the thick of wedding planning and you're sick and tired of looking for vendors, here's my no-kidding go-to vendors in the Phoenix area that I've personally worked with and provide incredible service, right? So now they download that. They actually book some of those vendors. They now like me because I've saved them time and aggravation, but I've also hooked them up with incredible people to work with that makes their day special. And then I can put them in a nurture sequence where it's like, hey, here's how to get ready for your engagement session, or hey, here's some tips so that you get the best wedding photos on your day. Have a clean bridal room. Make sure that you have all the details ready. Here's some ways to get prepped for your wedding day the night prior. Make sure you get some sleep. Make sure you eat well, things like that, right? So we're going to basically just nurture them through this email sequence. And the hope is eventually down the road that they're going to reach out to you because you've gotten them, they've known you, right? You're like, okay, Buchanan Photography, they're a husband and wife team, they live in Phoenix. I get that. They gave me this resource. It was kick butt. They saved me time and aggravation, and I got some great vendors for my wedding day. Oh, and by the way, they sent me a bunch of follow-up information that I didn't have to go searching all over the internet for. And they've been doing this for a long time, so I trust them now. Let me reach out and see if they are available for my wedding and photograph that day, right? So that is the theory. That is how it works. Does it always go perfectly like that? Absolutely not. Because like anything that you do on the internet, it requires testing, right? Because you and I have different audiences. The way we talk is different. Our brand is different. But the blueprint of getting them to opt in for something, giving them of something value, following up with them, and building a relationship with that is the same exact process regardless of what business you run, right? Whether you're an online business or offline business, everybody's doing the same exact thing. So next time you go and you do business with somebody, see if they have a sales funnel in place, right? You'll start to notice these things as you start to opt in. You'll be like, oh, that's the thing that Joe was talking about. So this is what it would actually look like in reality, right? So we need to be focusing on how do we get more people to our website in order to inquire with us. Now, I get it. It's 2019, right? Social media. Sometimes people they don't go Instagram website contact page. They go Instagram DM direct to you, right? In that case, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. That's fantastic. They're coming direct to you. But let's say the other 95% of people, what you're trying to get them to do is come to your website, and if they're not filling out your contact page, which is going to be your most, they call it what is warm the hot audience. This means the people who are the most interested in you are going to use your contact page. And then you have those who are kind of like the window shoppers, kind of looking around, kind of interested. They're going to opt in for your lead magnet, and your lead magnet is going to be, like I was talking about, something of value. Maybe you do a senior session, right? So you're doing senior sessions. Here's our style guide. So you look incredible for your senior session, and you can put together this beautiful style guide for them. What to wear, some tips and tricks to how to wear their hair, jewelry to wear, some props to bring, right? Do you think that would be of value? Absolutely. So if you're the go-to senior photographer in your area and you offer this lead magnet, you should be getting a higher conversion rate than 1%. And then this is going to give you the opportunity to sit and spend time inside of their email inbox, building a relationship with them in hopes of them eventually converting and becoming a customer. Now, once that initial email welcome series is what I call it, you can do a 5-day series where it's 1 email a day. Then you can dump them into a newsletter if you have a newsletter. Now, newsletters kind of scare people because people say, I'm not good at writing, I don't know what to say. Just do it, right? Just do it. That's how you get better. And then you'll start to see like what people like. Like they'll email you back, hey, I like this content, keep it coming, things like that. But this is what a sales funnel would look like, okay, on a website. And this is literally the blueprint that every single online business does. All right, now let's talk about some ways to attract clients, okay? How do we get people into our sales funnel, right? So you got a sales funnel built out. How do I get them in now? All right, so you got your Facebook business page. You can use that and leverage that to post helpful content. So you can share blog posts on there, but you can also share tips, right? So wedding planning tips. Go live. Live is always huge. Facebook, if you go live, you do live videos, I understand the organic reach isn't that fantastic, but if you have a lot of people who like your business page, so if you have like thousands of people who like your business page, or maybe even a few hundred is fine, most likely those are your customers or people who are following you, right? So if you go live, I promise you the organic reach is going to be higher than the usual 1 to 3% because Facebook wants more video, okay? So you can go live. It doesn't have to be long. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can be your cell phone, and you just give them here's my 1-minute tip for today, and it's something basic, right? Here's my wedding planning tip. Here's my senior session planning tip, right? It can be anything along those lines. Maybe you can highlight a vendor or highlight a venue or talk about. It doesn't even have to be something industry related. You could talk about, hey, here's my favorite restaurant, right? Just anything. Just producing content and then building that like, no trust factor. Instagram, stories and highlights, where you can show tutorials, behind the scenes. Whenever you guys are producing content on social media, your goal is to get them to know, like, and trust you. And you do that by providing valuable information, but at the same time, a good 20% or so, showing a little bit who you are as a person. Like, what do you like? So Dana and I position ourselves as like people we like sushi and tacos, right? So we always joke about that. So we kind of put it in all of our branding. Another way to attract clients is Pinterest. We pin blog posts, sessions, helpful guides. We're actually starting to get quite a bit of traffic to our website via Pinterest. So Pinterest is a great traffic source. Just think of it as like Google, but it's visual. Blog, you want to be blogging. I know I'm not going to talk a lot about blogging right here, but a lot of people feel like blogging is dead. But no, blogging is not dead. It's the way that you blog, and blogging effectively, that's really important. So show your recent work, give downloadable guides, give helpful tips. SEO, making sure that SEO ties in with that blogging, making sure that you're optimizing for those posts. You can do YouTube videos, bridal shows, ads, vendor relationships. But all of these items here, these ways to attract clients, are all up front here. This is all the ways to get traffic to your site. Now I'm going to be recording a video, and we'll link over to it, that I am going to be calling like basically Traffic 101, right? Something, I'm seeing a lot of people, it's like, hey, I'm just not getting inquiries on my website. Well, I'm like, well, how many visitors do you have to my website? I'm like, I don't know how many. And then they find out they have 100 visitors over a period of 3 months. Well, you're not going to get that many inquiries. The way to do that is to increase traffic. And these are some of the ways that you're going to do that. And I'm going to do a separate video for that. Because what you need traffic come to your website, because once they're to your website, now you want them downloading that guide to put them into your sales funnel. So you want a lot of people coming in at the top so that you can get the amount of people at the bottom that you need in order for your business to stay surviving and thriving, okay? So here's a simple funnel checklist, and here's a practical example, all right? You want to know who your target audience is. You want to know who these people are that you want to work with. Otherwise, you could build this beautiful guide and nobody downloads it because guess what? That's not who your target audience is, right? You need to make sure that you're hitting the mark. So I'm going to run through an example real quick. So I got a young bride. She just started wedding planning and she's super overwhelmed. She's not sure how the wedding day timeline will unfold. Using our experience, we create a timeline that ensures a stress-free day that runs smoothly and on time. So we create a blog post explaining each wedding day event and the suggested amount of time that we recommend allocating for that event. And then we show exactly how the day unfolds, not only so that she has a plan in place, but that we also provide time to get the best pictures possible. So we create the downloadable PDF. The link to download it is either in a blog post, it's shared on Facebook, it's shared on our Instagram, it's shared in our Messenger bot. And then what they do is when people find us on social media or on a blog post or Google or Pinterest, whatever, they come on over, they download that guide, and then they go into an email sequence, and then eventually we want them to book with us. So that is a practical example. Let's do one more. All right, so I used this one earlier. So first-time mother, she wants maternity photos and newborn photos, but she's not sure if she should have photos taken and how this process even works. After all, I almost look at maternity photos and newborn photos as like brides, right? This is the first time that they're doing this. I'm assuming this is a new mother, right? This is the first time I've ever done this. They have no idea how this process works. So something you could do is put together a maternity session planning guide. What to wear, recommended scheduling time frame. Hey, when do I actually get my photos taken, right? When, with my belly bump. Hospital packing checklist and what to expect. You do a blog post, you show snippets of the guide in the blog post, and then you create a downloadable maternity session planning guide. The link is then on the blog post, it's shared on Facebook, it's shared on your Instagram, and easily accessible, right? And you can promote it on Pinterest, you can do it in ads, however you want to get creative. But you can kind of see how this works. You drive traffic, you give them something of value for those who aren't wanting to immediately go to contact page, and then you build a relationship with them, and then you eventually get them to convert. Because you got to realize there's three types of audiences, right? You got the cold, you got the warm, and the hot. The cold audience has no idea who you are. The warm audience are these people downloading the lead magnet. They kind of like you. They're doing a little bit of research. They may know who you are a little bit, but they just need to warm up more because they don't know what to expect. This is new to them. But then you got the hot audience. Maybe they're a referral. Maybe they met you in person. Maybe your website's so good that they built this relationship with you via social media, loved everything about your website, and went straight to the contact form, right? So what you're trying to do is create this sales funnel where you're actually increasing the number of opportunities for you to build a relationship and have a conversation with potential clients. That is what a sales funnel comes down to. Now, if you don't have a funnel in place, you don't have a system in place, now is the time to do that, right? Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some time to build this out, okay? Look at what's going on here. I have a ton of more videos queued up, scheduled, ready to be published that is going to show you exactly how to identify how many people are coming over to your website and what sources these people are coming from. And it's called Google Analytics. And I'm going to record a separate video how to do that as well. So, lots of training with videos, but for this is the beginning. This is the starting point. Just having the awareness of this puts you way ahead of so many people because a lot of folks just aren't paying attention to this or they don't know how to go about it. And it's not your fault at all. Because if I type this stuff in on Google, there's a million answers out there. But this is the bare bones. This is the breakdown of how it works, all right? So, if you like this video, go ahead, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. Leave comments below, ask questions. I'm happy to help you guys out, of course. But at the end of the day, come on over, join the booking lab. That's where you can get the most one-to-one attention, and where we really like to take care of you guys and record more videos and answer questions and share all kinds of helpful information, because we want to see you guys survive and thrive and really crush it in your photography business. Okay, so again, Joe with Dana and Joe, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, guys.